Damian Lillard will be out indefinitely after being diagnosed with a blood clot in his right calf. Chris Haynes says that Lillard is on blood thinners, which has stabilized the blood clot. He will still continue with regular testing to get him back to good health. This is very, very worrying because a blood clot is a serious issue. But also for the Bucks, the usual recovery time starts at like 3 months for this, which means Damian Lillard will be out most likely for the rest of the NBA season. The Milwaukee Bucks are currently 40 and 31. That's fifth in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, this is very sad news, and we wish Dame a speedy recovery. But BJ, the Milwaukee Bucks they were in a tough predicament. They're in an even tougher predicament now because they're really all in on trying to win with this team. Brook Lopez, as we discussed previously on the show, is 38 years old. Dame Lillard in his 30s too. Giannis, another year of his prime, more than likely wasted as they won't be competing for a championship. What does this Milwaukee team do in moving forwards to try and win a championship with Giannis Antetokounmpo, or is it time to maybe move some pieces around and look to go in a younger direction? How are you looking at this if you're Milwaukee?
Well, it's a very unfortunate situation, and it's a very sensitive situation when you have the health of one of your any player, in particular in this situation, with one of their primary players. So, when this team is healthy, I still think they always have a chance because of Giannis, his presence, what he does on both ends of the floor. Let's not forget prior, to that trade and all of the things that have happened there. They've had a coaching change. Chris Middleton's health was a big concern. Damian came. There has been a lot of change in Milwaukee. So I'm not deterred by the problems that exist in an NBA season, the problems that you have with constructing a team. And one of the primary things that you need your health. And this has been a very unfortunate situation there in Milwaukee because of health. Now with Chris Middleton, he was out for an extended amount of time. Now the situation with Damian Lillard. So, it's part of it. It's part of, just part of the draw. So I just hope that Dame and his family and all the people there in Milwaukee, just let's put things in perspective. This is a health issue. We've had that with now what Victor Wembanyama as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm not ready to trade and move on and do all those things. You have to have health, and when you don't have health, this is what happens. And so I'm not ready to move on as long as Giannis is there, and you'll always have a shot. And but I want to be keep things in perspective. I'm not ready to move forward, and blow up the team and do all those things.
Well, the reason I say that is they won the championship in 2021. Following that, the next year they lost in Game 7 in the conference semifinals in the Grant Williams game to the Boston Celtics. But the last 2 years they have been first round exits from the playoffs, and obviously they've had injuries, as you mentioned. Giannis has had some injuries when it came to the playoffs as well, which obviously limited them significantly. But Giannis now at 30 years old, they won a championship in 2021 at the start of his prime. 26 years old. Now, 30 years old, Dame is 34, Brook Lopez is 38. That's kind of your big three of players. Kyle Kuzma has not been who maybe they thought they were getting in Kyle Kuzma. This team isn't good enough to win a championship this season, even if they were all healthy. As good as Giannis is, there are just other teams that are constructed better.
I
Looking
mean,
at
that's
next
that's
season,
fair. Yeah, that's fair.
and
I
looking
mean,
at next season, they're not going to be. Are they going to be better than they were this season? I can't see a way of that happening. I can't see moves that they can make to make that happen. They're going to rely on internal development of their young guys, and I've not seen too much that would make me think that, oh, next season maybe the Milwaukee Bucks can get it together and be a contender. So you've got one of the best players of a generation at 30 years old. At what point does he come out and say that he wants to be in a different situation where he has the chance to win? Or at what point do you decide in your organization that this experiment hasn't worked? we need to move on.
People hide behind winning. We put this imaginary, like mm, all be all behind win. Well, I'm going to go there because I want to win. Okay. I have yet to met a player in my association with sports where your whole idea is not to win. That's Yeah, I haven't met a player say, no, I want to play the game because I don't want to win. I don't want to be a part of a winning organization.
Right. There are some
I
players out there that exist that they just want the money and they don't really mind.
that's possible. I just
They,
never
they,
met
they
them.
exist. I've met them.
Okay, I have never met them. I've never been in a locker room where someone has
Oh,
said
they ain't
that
gonna
to
tell
me.
you at work. They're gonna sit in the locker room and say they don't care about winning. Do you know what I mean? But I can assure you that
Yeah,
they
I
do
mean, I'm
exist.
sure I'm not doubting that they don't
In
exist.
private, there are players who are just looking to get paid, and the winning, they're not too fussed.
That may be the case. I've just never met them. I haven't met anyone here. And until I meet that person who said, "Hey, I don't want to win," I'm not mad at you for wanting to earn a living. Can't be mad at that. I'm not mad at you for putting yourself first. Reason I'm not mad at that is because that's why we that's why we play sports is to selfish behavior. So all of those things seem very normal to me. What I've never heard was anyone that intentionally came out there and said, I don't want to win. You may not have their priority winning as number one, but I've never heard anyone say, I'm playing the game just so I can't win. Never
Yeah,
heard that.
no one's actively trying to lose.
So with that, I just prefer to just like say, okay, everyone has priorities in which they prioritize their why. Okay. And your why, my why, has always been is to participate in a group function, in a group setting. I love playing, I love being part of a group. Love it. Like if there's anything that I could do that I enjoy more is to be a part of a group. And we all have a single focus. Nothing compares to that. Nothing compares to that. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what you do. Is to be a part of a group that has a single focus. Nothing is better. But that's my why. So, but I mean, if that's the case, so be it. But I've never met that individual. If you're trying to be a part of something that's, your why of why you play sports, what is your reason for playing sports, and more importantly, the friendships and all the things that you attain by being a part of. And but that's everyone's different, and I can respect that.
And how does that pertain to the Milwaukee Bucks?
How's it pertain? Well, Milwaukee right now is in a situation where their health, it's just real simple. Their health is not where it needs to be. And that's just the luck of the draw. I don't
But
have a problem with that.
but this is a roster that now for the last going on 4 years has chalked issues up to health. Oh, if we were healthy in 2022, if we were healthy in 2023, if we were healthy in 2024, if we were healthy in 2025.
Okay, so let's look at it. Did they have some key players that were not healthy due to injuries?
Every team deals with injuries. Every
Well,
team deals with health.
well, there you go. That's it. If you're telling me Giannis was not healthy, if you're saying Giannis was healthy and you believe he's not, say that. If Giannis was not healthy and he was not available, that's what it is. You deal with it. Sports isn't about everyone loves to tell me what happened yesterday to predict what's going to happen in the future, but sports only happens in the now. It's now is what's going on. Was Chris Middleton not healthy? Yes. Was Giannis not healthy at a key moment in the scheduling? Yes. Did they make a change in the coaching? Yes. Is Damian Lillard right now not healthy? Yes. Now, timing, timing is the issue because you can't live in the future in sports. You have to do it right now in that moment. In this moment in time, they've had very unfortunate luck with their health. That's it. Now, with Giannis, we're all saying they could be. But if he and others are not available, it's very hard for your Celtics to win if Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown is not available.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what I
So
said. It applies to every team.
No team is going to excel without their key players being available. We say it all the time, so let's apply it to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
The best ability is availability. If your best players aren't available, you decrease your chance to winning.
Okay, but
And if you're going to punish the players for being injured, trade them. If that's your take,
it's
I
not
don't
a
happen to believe
punishment for
that.
being injured. What I'm saying is, even when this team has been healthy, they've not looked like a contending team.
Okay, so when have they been healthy for the last 3, 4 years as a group?
Over this recent stretch, since the trade deadline with their new lineup, they've had games with their team available to them, and they've not looked good.
Okay, so let me get this right. They just traded Chris Middleton, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the rule that we always abide by?
Oh,
Or
you got
what's the
20,
rule?
25 games
5 games.
for
Yeah,
players to sell in.
I say the same thing. I'm just going back. So when you abide by your principles, the principles of this game is it's very difficult to have a championship caliber team without a training camp and years of development. So I'm just going to get Kyle Kuzma, insert him into our system and say, see, no, that's not how this works. This is not a video game. They're actual human beings. They actually need time. Kyle Kuzma was coming from the Washington Wizards, and you need time. And then you're taking away Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton was an elite all-star caliber player. So I don't understand how we make these assumptions without abiding by the principles of the
Okay.
game.
Okay, let me ask you. Even with a full training camp, all right, they have a full summer to get Kyle Kuzma integrated into
Mm-hmm.
their team.
Mm-hmm.
Next season, 39-year-old Brook Lopez, 35-year-old Damian Lillard, full training camp Kyle Kuzma, if that's the answer to your problems. Do you look at the Milwaukee Bucks as a serious contender next season?
Yes.
Aside
And the
from the logic of Giannis is that good, he
yes.
can carry a team.
Yes, because wherever Giannis is at, you're going to have the expectations. With Giannis on anything, you can put him on any team in the league right now, and he is going to change the outlook of your team. That's a fact.
Yeah,
Giannis,
he will raise the floor
he's
of your team, but you're not looking at winning a championship with every single team just because they have Giannis. It's a
every
team
team,
game.
every team, every team with Giannis will be forced to look at what's necessary to win a championship because of his ability. Every team. You can put him on any team. You could put him on the worst team in the league right now. And the first question, I guarantee you'll get in the press conference, you have an elite player. How far are you away from winning a championship?
So how far away are the Milwaukee Bucks from winning a championship?
Milwaukee Bucks are right now, until they are fully healthy with a full roster, with a full training camp, and they have an extended amount of time, we cannot accurately address, well, what does this team really
But
need?
this is
Now,
you
if you
say
have, but no, but if you want to say you don't believe it, then just say, hey, Mo says
no
he
no
don't
no.
believe it.
You say tell me something before it happens. Don't tell me after it's happened.
Okay, so
Okay, so tell me
tell me
before it
now.
happens. Next season, the Milwaukee Bucks all get healthy. They have a training camp. Do you think that this team, if they say they don't make moves, but they have their training camp and everyone gets healthy again, do you think this team,
This
with their
team,
with their lack of perimeter defense, with their clunky
yes,
offense, you're going to seriously sit here and tell me this team is capable of winning a championship?
yes, yes,
Because
I'm going
just
to
because
seriously
Giannis, and
just
that's it.
be just because of Giannis. Giannis is that good of a player. Giannis is capable.
Yeah,
He
he
can
is. He is
carry.
definitely that good of a player, capable of carrying. But this is
Yes.
a game that relies on a team to win a championship. No one player wins
Okay.
championships. Teams win championships, right? When they won the
Okay.
championship in 2021, they had one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. They had two of the best rim protectors in the NBA. They had one of the best isolation scorers. He's a top tier isolation scorer in Chris Middleton. So you had all of that. Now you have Brook Lopez who's going to be 39 years old. You have Damian Lillard who's going to be 35 years old. You have Giannis who's now 30, maybe still in his prime, definitely still in his prime. But the pieces around him aren't as good as the pieces that were around him in 2021. So no matter how good one individual talent is, have you ever seen one person win a championship by themselves?
Well, we're talking about a team sport. No one's
Exactly.
ever done that. We're not,
Exactly. But your logic for them being a contender is Giannis is that good.
okay. Let me put it another way. Giannis is a very rare player.
Yes.
He's a
Yes.
very rare player. Okay. Until Giannis is not available, I'm going to always give them a chance until he's not available. Until he's not available. Now, so you say, well, Brook Lopez is 39 years old. Well, Brook Lopez played in a system where they defended differently than they're currently defending.
Exactly.
Teams change the way that they play. This roster has changed their personnel. They've changed coaches. They've changed a lot of different things. Until I can see this team for an extended time, whether or not it happens or not, hey, who knows? I can't predict the future like that. But until I can see this team play for a minimum of 25 games, a minimum, until I can see what and how you're going to utilize Damian Lillard with Giannis.
This will be the third year of
Un-
the next season will be the third season. Them trying to figure that out.
until I need to see it with with Doc Rivers. Okay, this is Doc Rivers' first year with a training camp. Okay, until I need to see it. So you've had him there for 3 years. You've changed the coach midstream. They were, if I remember correctly, they were in first or second
They
place.
were pretty good before they had Doc Rivers.
It's okay. There have been a lot of changes within that organization. Okay. That's the NBA. If you believe that, Mo, stand out there on the island and say what you believe. However,
I said it.
okay, well, and I respectfully disagree. And that's
Yeah, that's
now we
cool.
can move on. And we
That's
can move
cool.
on. But but I will say this. I will say this. The importance of health is absolutely necessary. And at whatever team Giannis is on, I'm going to hold him to level, a championship level and a standard because he set the standard that high. He is that good. He is that good. And until you can tell me that, well, with this team in a 7 game series, that you can just beat him because he doesn't have whatever. No, I'm not buying that. Because when you guys won that series, you needed superhuman efforts from you got contributions that were very unlikely in that series. It could have easily not happened, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But you got one for Grant Williams was one. I remember Al Horford had a game of games. You're gonna need those level of efforts to beat him. And in any series that he plays in, he's going to demand that you have superhuman efforts to beat one guy. Because we know one thing about Giannis, the man will never give up. He's going to keep on playing no matter what. And he is capable. He can do it, just like Jokic. He can do it. There are some players that you have to hold to a different standard. So if you want to apply a truly great superstar player and put him in the same category as the other players, that's the mistake. There are a few players that are just a little different. Tim Duncan was a little different. Shaq was a little different. Kobe was a little different. There are some that you got to hold to a different standard. Giannis is in that category.